Hello and welcome to LowerBitrate number 31.
Welcome, everyone.
Take a seat, get comfortable. The world keeps getting crazier, apparently.
Mm.
Would have thought. Today,
Twists and turns we never saw coming. Sorry, go ahead.
yeah. This is not a filler episode. This is another story arc in the year of 2020 that we didn't know was coming. Big one.
Mm-hmm.
Today is June 24th, 2020. We'd like to remind you to exercise your rights to vote. I think most of the voting, I voted yesterday. Painless. And yeah. Anything else you want to mention?
For the polls?
Huh?
Yeah.
What?
What? Did you go to the polls?
Yeah, yesterday. It's painless. Waited in line for a little bit. It was really late in the afternoon. It wasn't that packed. It wasn't that crowded. Gave them my ID.
Mm-hmm.
They gave me a little iPad thing. And vote. I'm out of there. And I got a cool sticker.
Nice. Yeah, I've been really thinking about voting and how it may change. So go ahead, though, and get registered to vote and, be able to be heard in your local community and even on a national level. But people are like, my vote doesn't count. But on a local level, it literally does. So consider voting. You can be heard and counted for issues that are important to you.
Yeah.
But something else I'd recommend is, like, I'm high risk, so I'm like nervous about going to the polls. Like, I'm only going out for essential things, if at all. So I would do some research on absentee voting. Like,
Yeah.
look
If it's
in how so
medical,
easy.
a medical thing, you can get an absentee ballot. A friend of mine actually went to the wrong polling place. Apparently. Wink, wink. I don't know what kind of funny shit was going on there, but they gave him an absentee ballot so that he could put it in. It'll be counted there.
That's
yeah,
nice. He could do that on the spot. In other states, you had to like prepare for that.
yeah. Yeah. Voting on a local level really has some change. There's no tomfuckery like the electoral college there. So quite literally, your opinion and your vote matters. So
it's a quick tangent there.
Yeah. How was your week? Oh, also thank you for listening and coming to the movie nights and stuff like that. It's been fun.
Yeah, we enjoy it. I feel like we should tweet a reminder that like we watched the movie and then for the reason of talking about it on the podcast. But yeah, that's why we pick the movies we do. We want to talk about them.
Yeah. And in M's Discord, there's a spot for the podcast. You give some feedback, and we could talk about it there.
Yeah.
How was your week?
It was all right. Really uneventful. Yeah, I just stayed in. Played Animal Crossing a whole lot. Watched some TV, but yeah, just laying low. Every week is the same.
Yeah, I forgot what day it was today.
Yeah.
I had to be reminded that it was Wednesday, and I have a calendar.
Yeah.
That's bad.
Yeah, it's bad when I mix up the days because I get on Animal Crossing at least twice a day, because of like check the different turnip prices for the days. But you would think I know the date, right? Like stare at it for hours in Animal Crossing and I still mess up the day.
Yeah. Pretty low key week.
Yeah.
Things are opening here. Phase 2 in New York City. I haven't been to Manhattan and I won't be in Manhattan for the foreseeable future. I've never gone when it was normal anyway. So, because I hate tourists. So, whatever. But I've seen pictures of how things are going there, and it looks really weird. If you thought driving in Manhattan was bad, it's gotten worse. Even riding a
Mm,
bike gotten
mm.
worse because of the outside seating or whatever. It's a clusterfuck down there. So just been, watching that, playing some games. Path of Exile came out with their league on Friday. Streamed that a little bit. I
Yeah,
did
you've been streaming. Welcome back.
a couple times. I had to make some adjustments to the dashboard, but it's been okay.
Yeah, what do you think of Twitch's new features for
But
streamers since you've been streaming?
I haven't had to use them most of the time, but I do like the little dashboard thing. That's pretty cool. Shout out to them for letting me hide the follow count and the view count. That shit
Mm-hmm.
is, that always needs to go. I don't care about it. I don't like looking at it because I don't want that to be an influence of how much fun I'm having. But it has been fun. I've enjoyed putting up little goals on the screen and trying to get those done, like little micro goals. So
Okay, for
mm,
in-game?
yeah, like what I'm doing or whatever. It's been fun.
That's cool.
I'm taking it super casual. I don't want to sit here get mud butt after 14 hours of just doing absolutely nothing but mindlessly staring at a screen. Uh, yeah, that's pretty much it. That's pretty much my week. I got new colognes, which are bangers. They're really good.
I just picture your, the room you sit in, your like gaming room, to just be a plume of fragrance. Like you open the door and it's like you hotboxed in there with fragrance. Just all the fumes roll out.
Fortunately, no, it smells like my dog. But if I am wearing one, yeah. I don't know. We could
So
maybe.
let me just a joke. Okay, do you spray it in the air and then walk into it?
Do I waft it? No. What the fuck is that?
No, walk through, like spray it in the air and then just
Yeah,
like
like
walk
you
through
spray
it.
like a waft of spray and then you walk in. No. That's disrespectful. I would never do that. Do you do that?
No, I don't wear like perfumes or fragrances. I'm like really sensitive to smells and chemicals, and I have asthma. So yeah, just no fragrance is the way I go. Like even like really mild soaps and laundry detergents. You know, I'm really reactive to
Yeah.
everything.
I
I should
sprayed
be
one of
bubble
them
boy.
once. And I was like, it immediately like went inside of my nose. I was like, oh my god, this is strong. But I think it's because they get like made to order or whatever, so it's just sitting in my dresser. Um,
Weird.
yeah, it's a definite. Listen, I have nothing to do. I'm sitting here making shit up for me to do and be into because of video games haven't been it for me the last 3 months.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Guys, stay tuned for we're planning on doing a one-off, but we already started talking about the cologne and weird habits. But yeah, look out for a new episode, a bonus one where we talk about all the weird shit we've gotten into.
Yeah, that's gonna be fun. Let's
Non-gaming.
non-gaming things. How gamers deal with a pandemic.
Gamers spend money on such weird shit. So that's why in my Discord I have like a tech deals, or we can talk about like streaming equipment or PCs or consoles, whatever, because yeah, there's so much shit to buy.
You ever seen I think it's called Love, Death, and Robots?
Yeah.
You remember the episode where the guy was like tripping with that girl when he was like trying to get to a space station?
Yes.
Remember the very end of where he was? Like all those like webs and shit like that? Spoiler,
Mm-hmm.
sorry. Yeah, that's what the back of my desk looks like with fucking wires everywhere. I have
Or
the
like the scene
switch.
in Lord of the Rings where they fight the spider.
Yes, 100%. I have wires on plugs, everything. There's a whole bunch of crap here.
Yeah. Yeah, streaming, speaking of that, something I've been putting off, and I just need more energy to be. It takes energy, and I haven't been 100% because I've been recovering from 2 procedures. But I'm gonna move. Sigh. I'm gonna move my like stream, my studio, into like this like different room area, but it's like part of the living room. So that this room that I'm in now could become like a little guest room. It's just something we've wanted to do and talked about, but I'm like, yeah, there's no excuse not to do it now. What else am I doing?
Right.
I just hate touching my setup. Like anytime you touch it, especially if you break it down,
Yeah.
shit starts not working. Can't explain it. You plug it all in the same way. Everything's the same, but moving it 5 feet, streams are still finicky.
Yeah. That's why, well, one, money, the money aspect of it. I don't want to quite spend that much money to get a new desk set up.
Mm-hmm.
But that's another thing too that I've been putting it off because there's so much shit for me to move and so many wires to connect, and sometimes the USB ports get like finicky and you have to like do the Jenga of figuring out which port is which. It is a nightmare.
Yeah, I've been really settled into this spot for years now. Like slowly made upgrades, but like I don't have any plans to like upgrade anything else. Like I'm not gonna buy the $400 mic. I'm not gonna add another monitor. The only thing I'm thinking of is I do need a new chair, but that's not upgrading. That's just like fixing something that's broken. So yeah, I mean, since I've been in here, I think within the last year, I've added a third monitor. Just got a really cool gas springs monitor stand, an affordable one that I really love. I added a PC, so I have 2 PCs now. Realizing all the stuff I have to move. Yeah, just got to rethink everything.
Yeah, I do want to add another monitor. I want one for the console specifically because I played through the OBS thing. I have 3.
Oh.
I want one
You
that's
played
like on
in
the top.
OBS?
Yes,
What
I
were
do.
your other monitors used for?
They have a whole bunch of crap on them. Like I split it up because I get like, I don't know if it's claustrophobic is the word, but I do get like some type of anxiety if I have too many things on one monitor. I don't know, gamer problems, but
Okay, weird. But you saying that reminds me early Destiny days. I'm sure you guys know the streamer Professor Broman. He was infamously terrible at the game. Like, just
yeah.
Why are you so bad? You play this game all day, every day. The rest of your crew has like obviously increased in skill, knows what they're doing. Broman like couldn't shoot for shit, couldn't move. Just a lot of the importance of Destiny is movement. So, oh man. Then someone figured out he was playing through OBS, which years ago, OBS had a pretty big like latency from what you would see, what was being captured versus what you would see in the preview. And he figured that out and his gameplay got all better.
To be fair, I'm only playing Animal Crossing though.
Okay.
And I think the devices at the time were notoriously bad for latency.
Mm-hmm.
So I have, one of those. I don't think it's like. No, I don't think there's that much latency there, but there is a little bit. You could tell sometimes.
I think it's doable now, especially if you're using slabs. It seems like yeah. Have you looked into that? Like the Streamlabs OBS, it comes with a bot.
Yeah, I'm a purist. I just like having regular OBS.
I was that way too, but I forget what finally pulled me in. I don't know. Just
before I was kind of using the original like OBS Classic because my capture card wasn't compatible with OBS Studio for some reason.
Yeah, I had
but now
to do
that's
that.
not an issue. So
yeah.
I have one of those internal cards, but I do want to get the big boy expensive one.
Mm-hmm.
Mark II, the 4K one. I don't know why. I just feel like
Is it AverMedia?
No, it's the Elgato, the Mark II.
Oh.
Something. Like 260 and 250.
Yeah, now that I'm thinking, I think I had an AverMedia first time around, was not happy with it. And then, caused a lot of problems with OBS. But now having the Elgato Pro one, because it became more affordable. I'm much happier, very stable.
That's the one I have now. It's okay. For anything that's like very simple, just plug and play type shit.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Yeah, I was able to install it. I was like really intimidated, but I was like, oh, click, we're good.
There's a little bit of like fuckery that the fuckery is it ties to the beginning, and when you set it up, you have to unclick the Elgato sound capture. That messes everything up. It cannot be in your computer. I learned that the hard way. When I had the new computer, I was like, oh, I'm gonna take my time. Unclick. Piece of shit, piece of software.
No, it's not good.
All right, let's get into it. So, a while back, we didn't talk about this. I had this on the list maybe a couple weeks ago. Miles Morales was they showed a piece of game, which is the Spider-Man game for PS4, right? And it was assumed that he was supposed to get his own game.
Yeah.
And no, that's supposed to be a piece of DLC. So I guess the developers basically like backtracked and was like, "Oh, we're gonna make it a full game, ladies and gentlemen. That's how you pay $40 to $60 for a portion of a game. This is Metal Gear Ground Zeroes all over again. Don't buy into it. Seriously.
People are gonna buy it though.
I know people are gonna buy it, but the sentiment is like, I don't know. Like they're not willing to give him a full game. I don't understand why.
Do you think they made that decision because of like everyone's working from home and it's really difficult to create to finish a giant creative project, like put out a full game, so they're just conceding?
No, I think it was just planned as DLC. And then I think the Black Lives Matter movement, people were like, why isn't this a full game? And they kind of succumbing to the pressure of it. But he should have his own full game. Miles Morales is vastly different from Peter Parker.
Yeah.
He's a kid from New York, Brooklyn. He's a kid. He's not fucking Peter Parker. I don't understand. You could tell an entire story just based on Miles Morales. And
the fact that he's really young is a big telling too, because the original Spider-Man was a teenager.
Right.
Just like snapping pics for the newspaper.
Yeah. I don't know. Also, movie of the week on Monday, we're gonna watch Into the Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
I've been wanting to see this for a while.
Yeah.
I've been holding off.
Come watch it with us. Mondays at 7 Central, 8 Eastern.
Yeah. I don't know. How do you feel about this? Do you think what do you think about them like walking that statement back that it's just DLC?
It's too bad. I mean, he definitely deserves a full game. Like the last Spider-Man release, it was so fun, like with Tom Holland. So
yeah, people love that Spider-Man game, the Spider-Man for PS4. So I don't know, why would you destroy that goodwill? Just make a side game. You know what I mean? Like $30 and have maybe half a story or something like that. You already have the assets from the first game, so
yeah,
it's just very silly to me.
Yeah, it's too bad.
So we have do you want to talk specifically about Animal Crossing before we get into this next fuck show?
Yeah, we're gonna talk about streaming again in a second, but yeah, I just want to mention Animal Crossing. I finally did the wedding season stuff. Like I just wasn't interested in the rewards or anything, but I was bored this weekend. So now I'm pretty hooked on it. Like I'm gonna post the pictures on my Twitter of the nightmare weddings I've been creating.
Oh my god.
It's just an opportunity for like really easy, and you can see like it seems like everything in the game, just this long list you can use, and you can see all the variations and customizations of items that can be customized. But they're like, we prefer you decorate with the wedding season stuff, so you can use that. But I don't like, the rule is that it has to be pink, So I just vomit pink into the room, like ridiculous things.
Is it fun though? Is it something you can do over and over?
You can do it. You can do it once a day. So like, you have to take one picture. They'll be like, "We want a pink and white wedding ceremony," and I'm like, "No problem, boss." And then I just like vomit flamingos into the room, and she's like, "I love it." And so then come back the next day, and they give me like heart crystals, which I can redeem for more furniture, or they give me just a straight out item from that day. So I need stuff for my island. I'm struggling with getting KK Slider there. I did all this work and my island went from 2 stars to 1 stars. And I was like, so tempted to just give up, but I need terraforming. I'm trying real hard.
Yeah, I just dump shit on the island. That's all I've done. And started getting rid of stuff and planting stuff.
I've been getting lonely in the game. Like, it makes me a little sad because I'm still playing. And I think because I'm going at such a slow pace because I suck at the game. But I enjoy it. You know, like I find things to enjoy about the game. And, but my friends are not playing it as much. Like when I log in, I don't have 9 people online playing Animal Crossing anymore. Like I had Shooting Stars, I had Celeste this week, and like everyone's like, meh. So I was like, I think the game is dying.
I don't think it's dying. I just think most of the people that were super into it just kind of like, not burnt out, but they're like, I pretty much did everything I need to do.
Yeah. Just hoping. Okay, this Saturday there's an event called the Bug Off. I don't know what that means, but my residents won't fucking stop talking about it. And then, what else were they talking? Oh, in July, there's the return of the fishing tournaments, which were fun.
Okay, cool. Audible. I forgot to put this in because I pretty much bleached this shit out of my mind. But Friday, The Last of Us 2 came out. I saw the leaks. Whatever, right? I put it in my mind. That was not the full game. I'm gonna wait until I see everything. I've seen everything. Soft baby shit is what that story was.
I mean, how could they follow up the original though? Like the original was such a perfect, little treasure of a story. So, like, how are they supposed to mimic that?
No, some sequels are bad, right? But the things that they did were borderline insulting to the first game's fans. Like there's something that you do in the very very beginning of the game.
Mm-hmm.
It just doesn't make any sense. Using the I guess, well, obviously these are not real people, but you could assume that a character has like an ideology or a way of going about life. And it just takes that and throws it out the fucking window just for a plot point to make a story. And then the insulting thing about it is they make you play as a character that pretty much wreaks havoc on the game. That's not in the sense a good person, but they try to make you sympathize with that character. I don't care about what the character looks like, their orientation, their gender. That doesn't matter to me. What matters is a coherent story, and that game does not have one. It is 25 hours ish of just mediocrity, story wise. Gameplay wise, what do you expect from a game like The Last of Us? It's like minimal improvements over the first game. Graphics wise, beautiful. Naughty Dog did their thing. The development team did their thing. My problem was with Neil Druckmann and that fucking horrible, horrible story. That ending, I saw the ending and I was like, wait, what? What? It's just like, it's trash in my opinion. And if you have a different opinion, that's fine too. But for someone who played the first game, don't have a PS4, so I can't play the second one. I doubt I ever will.
Yeah.
That is, whoa. It's a complete 180 to like whatever the first game was.
Yeah.
And they could have just did the safe route. You know what I mean? Like, did the safe route, focus on those two first characters. And they basically took a focal point in the second game. That person was an NPC in the first game
Mm-hmm.
and made it like a plot point. I was like, why? Nobody cares about this character. Whatever. 0 out of 10 IGN. The other thing I wanted to talk about mentioning this game has a 96 on Metacritic. 96.
Yeah. That doesn't seem to match what like streamers have felt about the game. Just kind of a meh.
Yeah, it's a meh. You know, this game is not a masterpiece. I think Alana Pierce pretty much put out like a little expose. Like, she did work at IGN. Basically try to like uncover the reviewing process. Here's why I mention this. Do you factor in reviews when you're buying a game?
No. I factor in if I'm interested in it, and then if friends are getting it, which I think that's how everyone does it. Like,
For the most part, yeah.
who buys games based on reviews unless it's like way after the fact?
Yeah,
I mean, I do. Like, you look at Steam, right? And it's like very positive. You know, that affects game purchases.
I don't think so.
It affects mine. Like, if I'm deciding on a game and it's like mixed review, I'm like, not really interested. I don't want to deal with some like why waste my time on a meh game? Like, video games can be so just moving and affecting. Like, why would you settle for boring?
There've been a few games that have mixed ratings that I've had a lot of fun on. I think
like Conan.
Conan's one. Ark Survival Evolved is another one. A few other ones, but there's some other ones that have saved me. Like the game called Heat. That was $20 and was like kind of like Ark, but like the 1800s or something. That game was fucking dog shit.
I haven't heard of that one.
Yeah.
But you liked it?
No, it was really bad, and I refunded it. Yeah, so that was just the little tangent or whatever. The games journalists integrity is a little suspect.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because they get benefits for giving those reviews. They don't want to get blacklisted, which is game companies are very skinned for finding out even more than we realized.
Yeah.
I forgot what I was gonna say. Go ahead.
You want to move on to Mixer?
Sure. Let's talk about streaming for a second. Oh man, this weekend started on Friday, I believe. It started with one person, just a vague tweet, and then that, I don't know, that kind of made some female streamers decide to speak out against the abuse that this one person in the Dusty community was alluding to, and they received amazing support. And people believe their stories, which is not typical in gaming, to believe stories of abuse and harassment. So it's been really cool to see what's been happening. It seems like a lot of solidarity, a lot of support. I hope it will affect change. It happened at Mixer as well, to be a little long-winded. Mixer was accused of racism by higher execs, and Microsoft's response was to axe Mixer entirely. So that was this weekend.
Specifically, the one racist is Natalia Domingo. Remember that name. She was the one that basically said that Mixer partners were slaves, and she was a slave master. Fucking yikes, brother.
Yeah. Men have been abused and harassed, which I knew about because of my game, streaming and gamer friends. I hear their stories and I know they're true. Of course, I believe them. And there's screenshots of the chats and the harassment. And in the moderation tools, you can see why people were banned. there's chat logs anyway. So it's just something that's been really just accepted and dealt with, quietly for fear of retribution. But it's been really cool to see even large companies responding and listening to these stories.
Yep. Again, with the Black Lives Matter movement, and the women coming out in gaming, people are home and people are mad. This is a very common thing that happens. Um,
Do you feel like in this situation, though, justice has been served? Like a rare little small, delicious morsel of justice seems to have actually occurred in the past few days.
in regards to the women, or
Both. I mean, just swift action
well, yeah,
and then like zero tolerance for harassment and abuse.
yeah, a lot of the people that got named. I'm not gonna name anybody because I know they're beta cucks and they drink Soylent every day, so I don't want to get sued. But yeah, the main way that you get rid of people like that is, one, the companies need to have systems, checks and balances, so someone can't take you off of a PR list because you won't sleep with them, etc., etc.
Yeah.
Um, but the big people, the main people, they need to get deplatformed. If they are deplatformed, they're basically me, a nobody. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Nobody cares about me. So I'm also not a piece of shit, but that goes without saying. Um,
Yep.
a little bit of justice has been served, but this is just the tip of the iceberg. There's a lot of women that haven't spoken out. Um, if I
Yeah.
could give any advice or whatever, keep your receipts. Keep your receipts.
It's easy to. I know it's traumatic and shocking, especially like the first time you receive abuse or harassment online. It seems like too towards female streamers, the abuse and harassment is always sexually violent, like threats and even outright threats. It seems to me like male streamers, my friends, will deal with just, like trolling and harassment, not like threatening to rape them or like violently do things to their bits. It's just, ugh,
Yeah,
it's hard to
and
stomach.
we've talked about this before, or at least I've mentioned it. Um, Twitch has a lot of mentally unstable people. Well, not Twitch, just online in general has a good portion of mentally unstable people.
Yeah,
That
the
amplifies
problem.
it. There's a
Yeah,
lot
and
of
then
go ahead.
go ahead. I'm sorry. I was just going to say I agree with you. Mentally unstable people, but then also what I've noticed in coming to Twitch is that the people that are unstable are also very intelligent and very good at seeming innocent. But only like one person will know their like true colors or their a different side of them. But yeah, it's really easy to be so charming, and because you just see slices of a person and first impressions are everything. So if you have a good impression of this person, but meanwhile there's 10 people that they're abusing and manipulating quietly in the shadows, it's really alarming. I
Yeah.
went on that rant to say, keep your chat logs, find a way you're sure you're doing that. So the abuse that slips through the cracks, you have their names. You never know when they might start changing their usernames, and just attacking you relentlessly is a common thing that happens. So save your whispers, save your dims.
Yeah. Also, don't feel a lot of creators or people that stream online have this stigma about like casting someone out, right? Because it okay, let's say for example you have 5 people in your chat, right? And um one of them is being a dickhead. So in your mind, you'll go down to 4 viewers if you ban them, and the other
Yeah.
4 might be friends and they might, you know, castraze you or whatever. You might be subjecting yourself to abuse, right? Don't ever feel like casting that one person out cutting off the rotten limb is going to hamper you in any way. It's only going to get worse if you let that corrupt everything else.
Right. Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly. Like, ooh, it's hard. Tough decisions. And even like, how do you address the abuse while you're live? Like, do you mention the harassment? That's your choice. However you want to handle it. Like, I've chosen to ignore it. That works for me, but that's completely your decision. But then also, it's so hard. You're right. Like 5 viewers is even generous for small streamers starting on Twitch.
Yeah.
So if you have 2 viewers, even, and one of them is your mom or your bot, but there's one shithead in there, just nip it in the bud, ban them. You'll be much happier.
Yep. Don't subject yourself to that kind of shit.
Or your mom.
No, she's on Facebook Gaming. So,
Ooh, I want to talk about that. Any other thoughts about Mixer or Twitch?
The general, I think we hit the general points. Keep coming with your stories. Don't let these bullies fucking take advantage of you. Keep your receipts and don't feel bad about starting over. Speaking of starting over, good segue. Mixer's response, well, Microsoft's response to this whole thing was to basically dissolve Mixer? Huh? What?
Yeah, real fast. Yeah, everyone was like, like that dog that like tilts his head left to right, like, whole?
Yeah.
And I find Twitch's response comical. Their response is like, hey, yeah, come on over. We take harassment seriously. They keep saying that, but they
fucking don't
follow up their actions with anything. Like, people have receipts, even abuse at like internally in the company, like not just streamers. So yeah.
Yeah, the abuse comes
like
from the highest levels of companies as well. It hasn't come out yet, but it will. Stay tuned. So yeah, Mixer basically closed its doors. The site is gonna go dark on July 22nd, which is less than a month away. Nobody knew about this except the bigger partners, the ones that are making millions of dollars a year. And basically, they took all the middle and smaller creators and gave them the middle finger and said, "Sorry, go to Facebook Gaming."
Yeah.
Yikes.
I feel so bad for the smaller creators. I mean, that's really nice of Microsoft's like zero tolerance swift response. Really, taking action, it seems.
Do you think so though?
I know I've had doubts just because of how fast it happened. Like, how do multi-million companies don't do deals? Like, Facebook Gaming is not buying Mixer. They're just happily
buying something from them,
stealing their viewers. Like,
they're getting something from them. I don't remember what it was exactly. I think it's the contracts or something.
I don't normally, I'm like, to each their own. Streamer you want, it's your content. It's an amazing, complete, empty, vast sandbox for you to build whatever you want creatively within there. But be really wary of Facebook Gaming. Facebook doesn't have a good reputation with moderation. Even I would feel horrified for like a screenshot to be taken of me like next to a Facebook ad. Like, who knows what that ad will be next to my face? I don't have control over that. And another thing I find kind of comical is that your viewers have to chat in the chat with their real names. It's against terms of service last I checked to have a gamer Facebook. Like, no handles. It has to be first name, last name.
Yeah. That's yikes. I do not want my real name plastered on somebody else's screen. I don't want anybody to know that doesn't need to know my full name. It's not a big deal, but no, my choice.
Like, how come the streamer gets to protect their identity and their personal info, but not the viewers? That doesn't make sense. Like, King Gathalion is on there as King Gathalion. That's not his name, folks. Like, how come he gets privacy, but the viewers are put at risk?
Yeah. The problem with that is that Facebook wants to put everything in their one encompassing, full of shit app. Um, and yeah, they have dating on there, a whole bunch of other shit, a marketplace. It's like a
It's a
clusterfuck of
mess.
things.
Yeah.
Um, no, that's not how you do it. If you want to have a good streaming platform, it needs to be separate from everything else. If you want to, at the very least, keep it in the app at the very least, but have a gamer profile that's attached to your real profile so that you
Mm-hmm.
could have a choice to use your real name or your username. That way,
Exactly.
if abuse is happening, Facebook has a way to check who that is to hold them accountable
Right.
for it. But it doesn't put the people that are not shitheads at risk for, basically self-doxing themselves. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of information that you can grab from just a private Facebook. You know what I mean? Um,
It's dangerous because, veteran gamers and streamers, anyone that spends time online, you hear the stories and you see the results of what happens when someone can learn your first name and last name and say you're not so diligent about, because it's your Facebook. Your mom is your friend on there and you post pics to your kids and your dog and your house. And then like people aren't as careful on Facebook. Like they'll, because they know everybody that follows them. But I'm just like, whew, that one picture you have in front of your house with your first name, last name, that puts you at huge risk.
yeah. All
It
you need
really
is a
puts your
thread.
life in risk. So, not because someone's going to murder you, but because someone could easily call in the SWAT team to your house.
Yeah. It takes a few threads to be loose for things to come unwound. So you might be protecting yourself or whatever, but your family and your friends might not be as savvy as you. So
Right. That's, yeah. That's why you don't, just a tip in case you're new. That's why you want to protect your identity, is not necessarily because they come after you, but they find weak links. And it's not hard to do. Like you find who's following this person's Instagram or who their friends are. Like I don't want my mom to have these like streamer rules. Let her have Facebook, with her church friends and things like that. But I'm not connected to her anyway. Like I don't, let my mom go on with her life. I don't want anybody bothering her or finding her just to fuck with me.
right. Yeah, protect your family and friends. They didn't choose to have an online
Yes.
personality.
Yeah, and it irks me too when people post pictures of their kids or like stream with their kids. I just like you're putting that person's identity. They are a person. Like let them make the choice, when they understand the consequences of putting your face on the internet.
Yeah. Um,
Lots to say on this topic. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to ask Lou or me. We're very happy to help. I love talking about streaming. Yeah.
yeah, let's focus back on the smaller creators. The smaller creators are the ones that really get fucked in this because they don't have a multi-million-dollar contract or a partner contract in general
Mm-hmm.
to come back to. Um, One, I don't think many of those people want to stream on Facebook gaming. A lot of them that have gone there before have gotten burned, real burned, and gone back to Twitch or YouTube or Mixer or whatever the case may be. So, what I don't like about this is that you don't have a choice of where do you want to onboard your shit to. It's just Facebook gaming. A lot of people that have been banned, some of them for good reasons, like Ice Poseidon, but other people for, back when Twitch Prime was a thing,
Yeah.
people were stealing credit cards and mass subscribing with Twitch Prime, and the broadcasters were getting punished for it, permanently banned for it, because they
Mm-hmm.
couldn't blame anyone for it. So when the credit cards companies started coming out, were saying, "Yo, we need some heads." The streamers got punished, even though it was no doing of their own. I'm pretty sure there was a couple of bad actors or whatever the case may be, but everybody shouldn't be punished based upon that. So they went to
Mm-hmm.
Mixer. Uh, I think Mixer was axed because Streamlabs put out some numbers. I'm trying to find these numbers right now, but Twitch grew at least like 90%. YouTube grew a little bit less than that, and Facebook gaming apparently grew the third highest, and Mixer was the fourth. They grew 2% or 0.2%. I think it went from like 37 million hours to about like 37 and some change. So that
Oof.
they knew that nobody, because obviously people are home, people are going to be watching more content. All the other platforms ballooned, and Mixer didn't for whatever reason. I personally think they should have taken those almost hundreds of millions of dollars and thrown it into their smaller creators. That's just me though. Um, yeah, the bigger ones basically got a buyout for their contract of 30 million, 10 million, and 5 million respectively. Um, they got a lump sum of money, and now they're free to choose where they stream next. My
Yeah.
question to you: how do you feel? Facebook gaming, that's a non-existent. Nobody cares about that shit. How do you feel about the duopoly of Twitch and YouTube as being the valid streaming platforms that have their own thing?
Relevant. Yeah. No, nobody likes that. Especially because Twitch is such a giant now and can just put out toothless general statements because they don't fucking have to. Like, there's such a like there's widespread abuse on YouTube. Just they're so slow to act because they're so giant. And they don't have to give any fucks. Like if someone is pushed off the platform for harassment, because that's the only way to make it stop, they don't care. That's just one person. Like, yeah, it's too bad. Mixer really had a good community moderation status. Like you could that's telling to how small they were. You could literally tweet to the community manager, and then within seconds, the person harassing you in your chat would be banned. So they moderate with human eyes, but that's a testament to how small they are.
Yeah.
I have reported channels over the years for outright nudity, like full frontal nudity, racist handles. I can only ban people from my channel, but man, it's a mess. Like really flagrant terms of service violations. That just Twitch just doesn't care. Like no one's at the wheel.
Yeah.
So
A lot of these people that have gotten ousted as predators still have their partnership.
hmm.
So yeah, who knows? Twitch is never going to do anything. Well, they might. Let me not bite my words. I think I found the. I didn't. Never mind. It's 2019. Yeah. So, what would you do if you were a mid-level Mixer streamer?
Or I mean, I would be a small Mixer streamer. I would strongly consider Instagram.
Jesus. Heck
Really?
W. Instagram?
I know it's a Facebook company, but it'd be either that or streaming on Twitter with Periscope. Like just not going to Facebook, and Mixer's no more. There's a service called Caffeine that I heard about years ago. But
So you would not go to Twitch or YouTube?
oh, I thought you were talking about if I move from Twitch.
No, from Mixer.
I don't know. I think offering my advice of being on Twitch for years, you used to gain followers every time you streamed, and subs would be rare. But more recently, because I've been streaming a long time, like followers are so rare. Something about the visibility on Twitch. I think the big thing is that it got taken from the Xbox platform, like no more on the Xbox homepage. So I don't know. I don't know why visibility is so bad now.
That might come back for Facebook gaming, not Twitch though. They axed that because of they wanted Mixer people on there.
I don't know. Unless you already had a Twitch channel, which I've seen with Mixer streamers that I've met like at meetups and stuff. They've been able to transition, like, and they have good numbers, but they were really established on Mixer, so they had a strong community. And then they already had a Twitch channel on the side, like, because they took their name on every platform. So, you got to be able to do that, like make it a smooth transition as possible. That would be so frustrating. Like if I was on Mixer as mbot for 5 years and I mean, I don't know what the viewership would be like, but then to have to be like mbop 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 on Twitch, that would be discouraging.
Yeah.
There's so many things that go into this. Like Twitch has too few streamers. That's what I've always felt. Like they don't hear the voices of the independent contractors that fund their company. And yeah, I think it's a misstep too to not listen to or address like affiliate streamers or even streamers that are pushing for affiliate, because they're boots on the ground. You know, they know what it's like to be live on Twitch. How many Twitch executives know what it's like to be live streaming on any platform?
Not many, I don't think. Some of the admins do though.
Yeah, but not those affecting
The big
company
changes.
policy.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, absolutely not. And not the ones that have any contact with the CEO.
Yeah, that's very true. Yeah, that comes by with like having committees of streamers and stuff like that. Obviously, they can't be like you or me, you know, well, me specifically, bottom of the barrel, but I will give Twitch some credit. The visibility on streamers in general has gotten a little bit better, just a little bit. There have been people that have popped up on my homepage that are not part of partner spotlight on the top that I never would have seen before. So small golf claps to you. That's okay. My advice to anybody that's on Mixer: stay on there for a little bit longer. Push, 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 push. That you're gonna push or switch to another platform. Give people time to create an account, get familiar with it. Um, Pick whichever one is right for you. I guess. I mean, uh, getting an affiliate is pretty easy, right? It's not very difficult, especially if you have people that are into your stuff. But there is some bad stuff. There are people on other platforms that now will not go to another platform because they simply just don't like it.
Yeah.
That's just a fact of life.
My advice would be to dual stream on Twitch and on Mixer. Mixer doesn't have a competition,
Oh yeah,
like
that's true.
byline. So if you're starting from nothing, that would really be your best way, is to push it, put it in your title that you're live on Twitch too. Follow me there. That's how I saw one streamer friend successfully migrate his entire channel and community to Twitch and find more success there. He dual streamed for a while, like weeks. But because he was talented enough, it was seamless. Like to read 2 moving chats and play a shooter, I was really impressed. But so it's doable, but it takes some practice and skill.
Yeah, it's always
Don't
the
do that
streaming.
if you're a Twitch affiliate, by the way. Don't do that.
Oh yeah, if you're a Twitch affiliate, do not do both. That will get you banned with the quickness, or get it revoked with the quickness. They have some stupid policies or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see what's gonna happen with this. We could see a monumental change in the streaming space because there are 2 really big streamers that haven't picked a spot to go back to. So, and I think that the main reason why they went to Mixer in the first place is to have more control over, money things, platform things, and I just don't think that you're gonna get that at Twitch. Twitch is Amazon, and yeah, you're not gonna get anything done there.
It's all about the money.
Yeah,
Like that's why Twitch doesn't give a fuck about moderation, because it's just about money. They don't have to spend time on that. They can instead push big revenue generator projects, which probably suck, and no one uses. But yeah, I don't know. Well, it's literally about the money. Like Ninja is profiting off of both sides of this. He's going to get a signing bonus, if not guaranteed salary, and then he got 30 million from the termination of his Facebook contract. I mean, he's a free, literally they call them free agents. It's like professional athletes. It's really interesting to watch because he's a big trendsetter in the streaming and gaming space.
yeah.
The reason these big names migrated from other platforms with higher viewership is because they got contracts. So again, it's about money. Ninja wasn't like, I'm done with Twitch, yawn. I'm going to restart on another platform. No, Mixer gave him a guaranteed salary, so then his income won't fluctuate and be wildly like risky. Like streaming is very risky. You could lose your channel 1 month later, and then there goes all the revenue.
Yeah, that's what a lot of creators are feeling. Some of them live check to check. A lot of people don't have savings, so that's why they're, justifiably so, freak the fuck out about what's happening.
Yeah, it will take them time to transition the channel, then time to gain affiliateship on Twitch where you can start to monetize your channel. I'm not as familiar with how Mixer's platform worked, but Twitch has bits. Mixer had it like Sparks and Embers, which would benefit.
I think Embers were the bits, and I think Sparks are the free things that you get. Sparks are like the channel points, I think.
Yeah, so I'm not sure how much the streamer benefited from those, but I know it really changed Mixer when those came out, and streamers continuously push their community to like spend Sparks and things like that. So it'd be tough to like come over to Twitch where that's not a thing. Like you're losing these unique tools that you had on this platform that helped your channel.
Yeah. And one final thing I can mention. Take this as a learning lesson. Diversify your income streams so that when one thing goes down, the house is not on fire. Take that as a lesson. Learn different things and invest your money. Really, that's all you can do. Especially with what's going on.
Don't make a career in streaming would be my advice too, because the people that will, be very obvious with the money coming in, but don't, put all your eggs in one basket. The reason the gaming industry and streaming space is so, what's the word I'm looking for? Just the turnover. Yeah, I was going to say, just the turnover rate in there, like, and just how there's it's exciting because it's a high risk industry. There's high highs and low lows, but because it's so creative, projects get axed all the time. Thus people go with it. So people move around from company to company. Like ask any person that's, works for a gaming company, like, how even especially at the lower levels, how many companies they've worked for in the past 5 years. So, it's just different. There's no unions or anything. There's no job stability.
Yeah. I think, in my opinion, if a union ever comes to gamers or whatever like that, it'd be basically impossible to get in. That would ruin it. Right. You want to talk about the Twitch blackout thing since we're on the streaming subject?
Yeah, that was so Microsoft's reaction, I said this already, to accusations of harassment and abuse was to axe the entire platform, seemingly. And then Twitch's response was to just do nothing, but streamers on the platform started encouraging a blackout, and it was actually just smaller streamers, I guess, trying to show support in any way they could to try to get Twitch's attention. But I've seen most of the victims of this harassment, the ones that have come forward and told their stories, that a blackout is not what they want in terms of support. Like, why be silent more? How about you use your platform to spread awareness? Just tell their stories on stream, let people know what's going on, clean up their following lists, and advice for perhaps how to not be a fucking predator online.
Yeah, the Twitch blackout will never work. Twitch will be like, all right, see you tomorrow.
They won't even notice it happen.
Yeah, there's so many. Yeah. You want to move on?
Yeah.
Okay. EA Plays happened. Nothing else matters except Skate 4. I am erect. Let's move on. A better event. We had an Apple event that happened amongst the chaos of Mixer imploding,
Yeah.
um, I watched it. I thought it was cool. There's a couple things to mention. They have a new Apple TV Plus original. It's called Foundation. Looks pretty cool. It's like space themed, space focused.
Mm-hmm.
I did get a trial to Apple TV Plus.
Cool.
When I got my iPad, so we'll be checking that shit out once it comes out. Um, and Apple TV Plus is like really young. It's like only 6 months old. It came out last year. It's actually hard to believe that it came out last year. And it's like
Yeah.
really cheap too. It's like $5 a month.
What do you get on there? Games?
No, it's like Netflix. They have a whole bunch of their original stuff.
Oh yeah.
And they have some originals that are really good that have gotten nominations, and then I think they do have some TV stuff as well. Some Netflix stuff ish, I guess. I haven't really looked into it, but yeah, that was something that was interesting.
New streaming platform. Yay.
Another charge every month. Most of the stuff was like kind of like nerd shit that I only care about, but I did like how privacy was a big focus. And then on the opposite end, they announced that facial recognition was coming to like their HomeKit stuff. I don't want to know who's at the fucking door. You don't need to announce it to me. That's weird. I don't want my face being recognized by Apple servers. That's a
Yeah,
yikes for
that's
me.
weird. Yeah, I mean that is already out there with like Nest cams and stuff, but
Yeah. But
I
I
know.
wanted to talk about the presentation. Did you see the event or no?
No.
Okay, so it was pre-recorded. Have you seen previous Apple stuff?
Yes.
Kind of like that, but on Tim Cook stuff. But it was highly produced. It was A plus. This is how you do a post COVID-19 uh, panel thing with no people. It was really good. I enjoyed
It's
it.
less pokey too. Like those Apple reveals were just filled with Apple employees and they, it was like 1984 shit. They would announce something and everyone would like erupt into applause. It's like, y'all knew this was coming. Y'all worked on it. Like, what are we so excited for? This is just like fake support.
Yeah.
They're paying you.
Yeah, most of it was like dry journalists though, too. Like Apple fanboys and girls.
Yes. Lots of fans.
Um yeah, it was good. I enjoyed it. The production quality was A plus. I'm excited to see what other companies do, other big names like maybe Blizzard comes to mind to see what they would do.
Mm-hmm.
And the biggest thing, Apple TV apparently plays games. Color me surprised. Didn't know that. But two new controllers are being added to have functionality with it. Obviously, the Xbox Elite controller, the Elite 2, I have the Elite 1. It's set in my drawer for years at this point. But the Microsoft Adaptive Control is the most exciting part because now disabled gamers can have access to the Apple Games Plus. What is that thing called? Where it's like $5 a month. Apple Arcade.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they'll be able to play Apple Arcade games with a controller that has a lot of functionality for different ailments for gamers, and that makes
Mm-hmm.
me really excited. That made me really happy to see. Just a little bit of a silver lining in this shit couple of months that we've been living in. I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah, I mean, so okay, Apple TV has an accessibility mode. So is the Apple Arcade like who's it for? Like who's buying this service? Is it disabled people? Like is it kids? Um
I think
is this games for boomers? I'm just like who's gonna
probably.
boot up games on their Apple TV?
Yeah, I think it's games for boomers. Um, I'm trying to look to see they have. So there's a lot of games that here that are kind of like I don't know, mini ports or something like that. There's a lot of things like Fortnite. There's I guess if you wanted to play Fortnite, you would use the Xbox, right? Use the Microsoft Adaptive Control. I don't know. It's a little redundant, but there's a lot of people that play these mobile games.
Okay.
Surprisingly enough. There's like pro circuits in some games. There's like a MOBA game that's has a pro circuit. There's a lot of quality shit too. Have you ever played the game called Ocean Horn?
What is that?
It's like it's a mobile version of Zelda. It's like $9. Well, the previous one was like $9. It came out, I don't know, like 6, 7 years ago.
Yeah, I saw the ads for that. I just didn't remember the name.
Yeah, this one looks really cool. So stuff like that. I mean,
Yeah, but how are you supposed to play Breath of the Wild, like arguably one of the greatest games ever made? Then play that.
well, maybe for kids, like maybe disabled kids.
Okay. Yeah, that's true. Nintendo offers no accessibility options.
Yeah. They do have a remap function or whatever,
Hmm.
but I just like the prospect of being able to just buy something that has the functionality to work with whatever proprietary stuff you have. Because it's different strokes for different folks, right? Have you there's a lot of gamers. There's a Street Fighter player named Broly Legs. He's better than me. I'm trash. He would be able to mop me. He plays with his mouth.
Yeah.
So, and he would wash the absolute floor with me. Um, so yeah, I don't know who this is for exactly, but I do like the prospect that it is there. Um, Inclusion is always a good thing. You want to move on to TV?
What if we just skip to the Green Book? We can
Okay.
talk about these TV shows next time because I really want to have time to talk about it.
Okay. Green Book. First
We
time
watched
seeing it.
that. Yeah, it was your first time seeing it. It's definitely worth the second watch. I had seen it. This was my second time seeing it, but we watched it on Monday for movie nights. Join us. Really enjoyed it. Again, excellent film. Give it a watch.
Yeah, I really enjoyed seeing a New York character like your typical stereotypical uh Italian man on screen. Um
Tony the Lip.
Tony,
No, Tony
Tony
Lip.
Lip, yeah. Uh yeah, Mahershala Ali again, he is one of the best actors that we have out right now. Uh Vigo's good too. This movie in my opinion it touched on racial inequalities, uh homophobia, but in a different way. It wasn't like heavy, like your 12 Years a Slave or any other movie that might lay on it thick, you know? It was very funny. I think my favorite part was the fried chicken part.
Pretty good part. Yeah.
And I
So it
also go ahead.
Go ahead. No, I was just gonna say it stars Viggo Mortensen as, Tony Lip, the fixer, the bouncer, the handler, wears a bunch of hats. And has a really interesting outlook on life, although a bit close-minded. He has a bit of a narrow view. He's never been outside New York, apparently.
Yeah.
And then Mahershala Ali is this very cultured, pianist. Like, it's amazing. He lives above Carnegie Hall. He's a big deal.
Yeah. They flipped the stereotype. So they put the white person as the uncultured person, and they put Mahershala Ali as like this person with a lot of experience under their belt and haven't really had a troubled life, You know, he was basically rich, right? At that point,
Yeah.
or at
I mean,
least
he
like
had
60s
traveled.
rich.
Yeah, like he had traveled the world, because of his talent. Um, yeah.
Yeah, I enjoyed this movie so much. I'm glad that we watched it. I'm mad at myself that I didn't see this beforehand.
Yeah. It didn't advertise itself well at all. I was like, Green Book, that looks really boring because it's just a picture. Like the movie poster is just a picture of the car with Mahershala in the back and Vigo in the front. And I was like, why would I want to watch a movie about a car ride? It looked like something like Driving Miss Daisy, but it's such a good story, and it's a real story of two friends, like a really unlikely friendship, and I like that a lot. And also, yeah, it's such an unlikely friendship because they were the fucking odd couple. They have nothing in common except that they're both men. Like
Right. But they
one
also
has a family.
balance each other out, right?
Yeah, like one, they have a lot to learn from each other, but like one has a family, one's really isolated. They both live in New York, but it's amazing how big of a city New York is. Mahershala's never been out to, where were they? Like, do
Maybe
you
the
think they're,
Bronx? Maybe a Little
yeah,
Italy?
maybe. Who knows? I was like, this could be like Long Island for all we know, how like isolated it is. So, yeah.
Yeah, they were polar opposites and they learned a lot from one another. Um, I enjoyed seeing that throughout the film, especially Tony Lip with his illiteracy,
With,
getting help with the letters.
but I mean, he's lived, yeah, his view is very narrow, but he has had a lot of experiences and he is a really resourceful and intelligent person. He's just not educated at all. All he does is like know how to drive cars and trucks and work as a bouncer in a bar, throw people out of this like really fancy club. And
Yeah,
he has ties to the
Copa,
mob. Yeah.
Copacabana, famous club. Uh, yeah, I like the depictions of it. It's a good period piece. It's a good story. I think it touches on the issues in a lightweight manner.
Yeah.
Not too heavy. Makes it fun to watch.
Like the reason why it's light is because they just present, history. Like this is these two men's stories. It's just how their like stories became one story and worth telling. So I like that. They just, here's what happened. It's a really interesting story.
I enjoyed it. 8 out of 10. Would
I
watch
might
again.
rank it. Yeah, I might rank it 9 out of 10. Yeah, just because of rewatchability and how much I enjoyed it, especially the second time. Really well done. I don't watch a lot of like historical movies, movies that are about real life events. Like I'm like, yeah, life is honestly boring and difficult. Like, why would I want to watch this? Like, let me watch some sci-fi or fantasy or some shit. Like, throw some vampires in there. I'm interested. But this was a really unique one. You learn about, the history of this country and even, including the experiences of those who lived through the time periods.
Yeah, it was also very smartly directed and edited. One thing I noticed was you were seeing performances
Hmm.
from Don Shirley, and the performances were getting, the music was getting angrier and
Hmm.
angrier
The further
as
south.
the further
Yeah.
south they got, because he was experiencing, exceedingly levels of racism. Um, so yeah, there was a lot of tiebacks to like Bobby Kennedy and JFK. I like that.
Hmm.
And
Yeah, the country was in a really tumultuous time, while this movie was occurring. Um, and that's mentioned, and acknowledged.
it was like 62, so this is like I think a year before JFK assassination, like at the height
Hmm.
of it or whatever.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, I thought it's basically almost a mirroring of like what's going on now.
Hmm.
Um, so
Big
yeah,
shift in our country.
yeah, the revolution is here, I suppose.
Yeah, I liked it a lot. I mean, something else I want to point out is at one point he makes the point, Mahershala does, Don Shirley, the black man in the story. He goes to a bar to get a drink to cool off. Like he has a really tense encounter. And so he decides to take a walk to get himself out of this situation. And he goes to a bar to get a drink, but it causes a lot of trouble. He gets beat the fuck up because they're in like Alabama or something, or like Tennessee. And he has to be rescued from that situation. But I just like the introduction of just the true side of southernness. They're real nice, like drippingly, their words drip with like honey and sweetness, and it just seems so peachy, but they're so racist. It just is such an ingrained part of the culture. Still, I lived in Georgia for 10 years. Georgia is still segregated. It has horrible, racial divide and issues that are not seemingly getting better with time. So yeah, I was just like, I've encountered many of those people. The casually racist just have really disgusting ideals. And I'll be really nice to you, but they're actually not good people.
Yep. One of my favorite parts of that was Tony Lip was fronting like he had a gun. And then Don Shirley was like, "You have a gun?" He's like, "No, I don't have a gun." And at the very end, like the crescendo of the movie, where there's an amazing performance, which I really did like the music in this movie.
I love the music. Yeah, it was really good.
There's a quick flash of somebody looking at Don Shirley's money, because he is a wealthy black man in the South where they don't have anything. And Tony Lip, when they're leaving, takes his fucking gun out and puts it in the air and fires 2 shots, and 2 people behind their car go fucking flying. He's like, "I knew you had a gun."
As opposed to like, we were just about to get mugged.
Right. Yeah, I thought that was like, that was one of the like funny parts of the film, where you get a revelation of like who Tony Lip is and who fucking shoots you. But he was more focused.
Smart. Yeah, he's street aware.
Yeah.
And that was funny because, I grew up in New Jersey. As soon as he took out that wad of cash, I was like, "What is you doing?" And then sure enough, it would, you see 2 guys eyeing the cash. Tony sees it, thankfully. But like anybody that's street smart, you see a wad of cash when it appears. You never do that.
No,
never.
Never.
I love that the pearls of wisdom from Tony were just as valid, perhaps, how to survive, as Mahershala's, lessons for Tony. And man, there were a lot of them. He went really hard on Tony.
Yeah.
I think because he saw, like, wouldn't you say he was so hard on him? Like, he wouldn't have cared if, Tony was really not an intelligent person. Like, he was like, "You're better than this. You're doing this to yourself. You behave violently like an animal. Dignity is the true triumph." And that's a good point.
Yeah, they had a lot to learn from one another, especially after the point where they got arrested, and where Doc Shirley wanted to walk. And that speech was, I think that was one of the best parts of the film, where it's kind of like, it's also, it kind of touches inside of like, I'm not black, so I can't really tell you, but I can tell you I have experienced other things. Like, I'm Hispanic and I don't speak Spanish, and people look at me with like a fucking stink eye. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he had this saying about like, he's not black enough or he's not white enough. He's like, what am I? Like that internal struggle where you're not ghetto enough to like play. What was that, horseshoe?
Yeah, they were playing. Yeah, they were playing horseshoes, which still happens. A really Southern thing. I've seen it like at tailgates and stuff. Just hanging out in the parking lot, tossing horseshoes, and he didn't want to play, and they gave him a really hard time. Oh, for sure not. And I was like, he's not going to play that. He's a professional musician. Like, his hands, his fingers are his money. Like, he's not going to do that.
Yeah, I thought it was an excellent film.
I enjoyed it very much and I recommend it. Give it a watch. It's a really good film to watch during this time because it's a feel good one. Watch it. I guarantee you'll smile when it, at the ending.
Yeah. Anything else?
No, just thanks for listening, everybody, and make sure you join us for movie nights on Monday. We'll see you then.
All right. Bye.
Bye.